Tinubu presidency worried, okay, as Niger Republic keeps mum over reopening of borders by Nigeria prevents entry from Katsina and Jigawa, meaning that the federal government is expecting, since they have opened the border, you know, for them, they should also open their own border. But now these guys are just keeping quiet. They're not even saying. In the first place, Nigeria is assumed to be giant of Africa, and these small countries are supposed to be like, begging Nigeria as soon as Nigeria places sanctions on them. But reverse was the case before Nigeria came out and said, okay, we are reopening the border, we just want to make peace and all of those stuff. But these guys say they don't send though. They don't send at all. Meanwhile, days after the reopening of the Niger Republic land and air borders by the federal government of Nigeria, Nigerian authorities have not said anything, even as they maintained their entering points closed. Nigeria announced the reopening of its borders with the Niger Republic on March 13, 2024. While security operatives like the Nigeria Customs Service and the Nigeria Immigration Service have eased movements along border communities, their counterparts across the borders have remained adamant. This is as residents of border communities, especially on the Nigerian side, on Thursday expressed optimism that with the directive of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to reopen the borders with Niger Republic, life will be easier for them and their neighbors, especially in terms of trading. Tinubu's directive was in line with the decision of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, Authority of Heirs and State of Government at its ordinary summit on February 24, 2024 in Abuja. The Controller General of Immigration, Kemi Nadab, had, in a follow-up to what Buhari said, directed that restrictions on movements at Niger borders be lifted. Nadab gave the directive through a statement signed by the Acting Service Public Relations Officer, Mr. Kenneth Kure, on Thursday in Abuja. She directed all controllers stationed at state and borders commands along the Niger Republic border to comply promptly and lift all restrictions on human movement. So because you say you open your border, you think they will now automatically do the same thing? People who have not even sent anybody to beg you or to negotiate with you, you expect that as soon as they do that, they will just reopen it. That can only happen, in my opinion, if there was a kind of meeting of trying to persuade you people or to let you see reason why you should open your border. Then you can be saying this. If there was no any meeting or no promise or whatever, because you just opened your border, so you automatically they should open their own. It doesn't work that way, because you feel that you have a more edge over them. The border closure was part of sanctions to restore democratic order after the military intervention in Niger that ousted President Mohamed Bazoum. The two countries heavily relied on each other for economic and social activities, among others. The Niger-Nigeria border is 1,608 kilometers, stretching from Sokoto through Kebbi, Katsina, Jigawa, Yobe, and Borno states. After the reopening of the land borders, our correspondents in the affected states monitored the situation around the boundary areas. Their investigations revealed that the Nigerian side, the borders have been reopened in majority of the areas, but it is a different story on the Nigerian side. Residents who spoke with our correspondent said if the two neighboring countries reach a common ground, it will be mutually beneficial, as it would revive economic activities in the border communities. In Katsina State, residents of the border town of Konguloma, which is less than 20 kilometers from Daura, said security forces on the Niger Republic side blocked their own paths. Lawan secretary, who spoke to our correspondent, said, shortly after we spoke with you about the border reopening on the Nigerian side, the Nigerian police brought 3 of their operational vehicles and blocked the pathway using stones and sand. They told our people who were about to cross that they should go back, as the border had not been reopened on their side. He said. Secretary, who said he was not happy with the developments, added that whatever the situation was, there was the need for understanding between Nigeria and Niger. Just remember that it is not only about business transactions. We have marital ties with the people of Niger. Also, remember that our people have been importing and exporting certain commodities with extreme difficulty through illegal entry points, spending a lot of money to find their way. That alone has helped in raising the price of commodities, because whatever you spend along the way must be reflected in the selling price, he said. Corroborating the earlier response, Alhaji Lawal Planner Konglo Lam said the road that leads to Niger Republic was blocked by the Nigerian police, cutting short happiness of affected persons on both sides. He said the items mostly traded across the borders in their houses included dates, soap and other confectionery products, as well as grains and cattle. He added that with the high rates of foreign exchange rates with regard to the CFA, cattle had become more expensive. Ah, no wow. No wow. Things have become so expensive. Like, seriously? He, however, exposed confidence that if there would be mutual understanding between the Nigerian and Nigerian authorities, there would be gradual return of trading activities, and hopefully the exchange rates of the CFA would come down. At Jibia town, also in Katsina State, residents were in joyous mood, saying their lifeline would soon be restored. They were just hoping and hoping, but it's not going to be like that. The bottom line is that they are not ready to open and close. Now, never see anything. Don't start fights you can't finish. Nigeria is not the one begging for reopening. I thought we were giants, or we were the giants of Africa. Obviously a worthless giants now. Beg them no allow them to enter, or even Nigeria open useless border.